Welcome to Fishing Britain. Last week, some of you may have seen that Hal did a wet nomination and nominated a few people, including myself and Charlie from Field Sports Britain. Okay, so I suppose I'd better do it then before we get things started. I nominate Hywel Morgan, Hal's daughter, Gary Wingate of Glasgow Angling Centre, and the unseen face that is James Westbrook of Field Sports Channel.
For my Icebucket challenge, I took inspiration from the world of art, particularly the works of Millet, his Ophelia, one of the great dunkings of the modern romantic era. This is what happened.
Ow!
Well, yes, it was very cold indeed, but I'm glad to say that my daughter stiffed the local population for more than £30 for Macmillan Cancer Support. And now it's my turn to nominate, and I nominate Ashley from my local village and David Wright from Field Sports Channel.
This week's show has got plenty of teeth in it. We have a look at one of the best predator boats we've ever seen. We also show you how to rig up weedlessly for those tricky fishing situations. David is waiting in the wings to deliver the news, while Charlie has been trawling the internet to find the best fishing videos to share with you lot. But first, it's time to go down to the Gloucestershire Canal for some early morning perch fishing.
You might recognise this fella, he's Gary Palmer, the captain of the England Law Squad. He featured in our cover of the Xandermania competition. Click the link on the screen to watch that show. He asked us along for a quick morning session on the Gloucester Canal to see if we could find some perch. A 5 AM start and no time to waste. Hywel is reeling in not only his first cast of the day but also the first bite. Watch the mob behind the hooked one. Are they trying to help or just mocking the afflicted, I wonder? How people can't love these worm-gobbling canal icons really baffles us. Hal tosses him back for more humiliation from his mates. He was caught on this black and gold spinner, but Gary has gone for something a little more realistic.
The type of bait they're taking than that. Oh look, there's a little perch coming up. Look, see him attack it then. Yeah, he's back again. Big eyes, little belly. It's a fish black minnow, 90mm weedless. I like using weedless. There's a bit of reeds on the bottom so I can bring it through the reeds. But the main thing is I can cast it onto the bank and just flick it in.
As this lure is rigged weedless, it means that Gary can cast it onto the grass without any fear of it getting caught up. And then with a twitch, it plops right into the water's edge.
And just let it just slip over.
And then he lets it sink down like a tasty injured fish breakfast.
I'm just holding it, watching the line on the surface, feeling the rod just in case I get a tug.
Perch love to hunt around structures and along walls, so getting your lure as close to the wall as possible can often make all the difference.
And another canal perch. That fins are just absolutely stunning. First fish I ever caught when I was like 4 years old. And it's what hooked me from then onwards. Just slipping back in again. Off he goes to the depths. Perfect.
For those that don't know, Hywel is actually a bit of a superstar when it comes to fly fishing. He currently holds the Guinness World Record for casting 66 fly rods at the same time. Yes, that's 33 in each hand. He was also the accuracy casting champion with a plug, so he doesn't need trick cast like casting on the other bank and sliding it in. He can cast so close with such precision, he can lasso flying doves right out of the air. The dove slingshot took years to perfect, and I'm sure there's a joke in there somewhere about knocking it off its perch. Worry not, no harm came to the dove during the filming of Fishing Britain, though it did take 12 attempts to get this shot, and the others died a horrible watery death. Only joking, we used kittens to practice on first. 80s wedding video stock footage coming up. Let's access the perch database. Here comes a bit of nerdiness. The classification in the animal world of perciforms actually means perch-like, and that includes a whole world of spiny fish from tiny freshwater fish to marlins. Yet the mistakable colours of this freshwater perch are unlike any other in our European waters. Aggressive, curious and pack hunters, these critters have become very fashionable to catch, and not only grown in fame but also in size, thanks to another predator that has made itself very comfortable in our waters, and that's the American signal crayfish. Some think that it's thanks to these bite-sized nippers that fish like the perch are growing to huge sizes as they gorge on the ever-growing numbers. Currently, the UK record caught perch is a stonking 6 pounds 3 ounces. Thank you, Fishypedia. You really don't need a lot of equipment to catch perch, but Gary has just about all of it. And one of the most gratuitous items is this impressive reel slung under his cork. So what is it?
It's based on an Exist, which is one of Daiwa's top fixable reels. And then it's got about 6 levels of customisation. It's the highest customised factory model that they do. It's all carbon fibre, it's all sealed bearings, sit in a bucket of salt water for a week, it's not going to hurt it. The drag on it is just absolutely superb. Line lay, I just can't fault it. Beautiful, beautiful reels.
He's also using the Spro in-sync rod.
It's more and more rods now are coming out in white and red. Their entire range of in-sync rods are all in red, all fitted with the new style rings to pull the ballooning down as it comes off the reel, straighten the line out as it goes through the rest of the rings, theoretically giving you more distance and more accuracy. Beautiful, lightweight, but loads of backbone. All the power comes in down here when you need it, and then it softens up, and then you've got a really nice supple tip that'll show all the bites, etc. Nice and sensitive. Lovely rod, ideal length for on the canals, fishing off a boat. But I tend to use it for small spinners, small plugs, any small lures at all, not just for drop shotting. It's a lovely little action and it's just so sensitive.
Has Hywel just had a bite?
Look, look. That was a fish.
Yeah.
How dare you not believe me?
The fish grabbed it
Listen.
and put you in something.
Yeah, straight in the weed. Fisherman.
So how long's that minnow been broken?
About 10 casts. But it was a fish. Unless the weeds learn to pull that way.
Yeah. Fish on. They're just brilliant the way they just power dive and everything. Oh, there we go. Let's just whip him out. With the weedless one, it just pops it straight out. There's no worries with it not hooking. There we go. Nice little perch. On the other side you can see there's a couple of sores, but he'll be fine. He'll soon settle down. It's the sheer size of the mouth. When you look at that and imagine that's the last thing that little fish sees before it goes down. and it's gone.
Gary is a fantastic predator guide, and if you would like to know more about his business, then go to river-guide.co.uk.
Quite possibly the most fun you could have, jiggling jellies. Now still to come, we show you Gary's pride and joy, also how to rig up for those weedy situations. Talking of weedy, fishing for facts, landing the stories. Here's David with the news.
This is Fishing Britain News. Viral fish video of the week comes from Thailand. A dog in the city of Phetchaburi seems upset that these dead fish are not moving and even tries to cover them with water. A German schoolboy who dropped his iPhone into a pond he was fishing decided to drain it to try and find it. The local angling club refused to let him dive for the phone, so he came back late at night armed with a pump. However, he didn't realise the toilet was not connected to a sewer system. When the owner arrived to a flooded car park, he quickly found the cause and called the police. Actor and angling TV presenter Robson Green has defended catch and consume in an interview with The Telegraph. As part of the promotion for his new series Extreme Fisherman on the Quest satellite channel, he says, "If you're fishing with rod and line, you're not putting a dent into numbers. We are not pillaging the oceans." There's been a run of events promoting angling to young people. A group from the Naseby Youth Centre in Small Heath, Birmingham, enjoyed a day's fly fishing in the tranquil setting of the Lenches Lakes in Worcestershire, organised by Andy Walker of Midlands charity Angling Unlimited and made possible thanks to grants from the CLA Charitable Trust. In Highbridge, Somerset, a number of organisations, including the Angling Trust and the Environment Agency, provided free fishing lessons led by qualified angling coaches alongside other angling-themed games, stalls and activities. And youngsters learned fly fishing at Rutland Youth Fly Fishing Day at Rutland Water. Members of the boy band One Direction took a day off to go fishing whilst in the States. They're currently touring America, and it's amazing how similar Liam Payne and Zayn Malik are to the UK's own fishing boy band, Carl and Alex. Uncanny, isn't it? No wonder you never see them together. And finally, how to get salmon over dams. An American company reckons it has the answer. It fires them from a specially designed cannon. It says the fish are used to flying. You are now up to date with Fishing Britain News. Fishing for facts, landing the stories.
Thank you, David. Now remember, I am still on the hunt for that wacky fishing tie for him to wear. Now before we show you the Dream Silver Predator machine, it's now time for Gear Guide.
Weeds can be a right pain to fish in sometimes, but more often than not, that's where the predators hide, ready to ambush passing prey. So, how do we rig up the lure so it stays weed-free? Gary Palmer, the captain of the England Law Squad, will show us how.
Quite often get asked how to rig them. People don't know. It is easy once you know how. Here's one of the Savage Gear 3D crays. It's the smaller one. Absolutely fantastic little lure. Hollow bodied, nice and soft. Tends to stand up in the water. Nice size for a nice size perch. So let's show you how to rig one up weedless. So there's the crayfish, and here is one of the special weedless hooks that comes with it. One of the things to notice first is the fact that it's got like a spring on the front that you screw in to the tail. The reason for the spring is it doesn't damage the rubber, it doesn't rip out of the rubber as easy, holds it all far more securely. Nice little weight halfway down the shank, just to give it that bit of extra weight with the lure to drop down through the water. One of the things I particularly like with the Savage design is the fact you've got a pin down the centre of the actual spring itself. So all you do is line the pin up with the end of the tail, push it in, and then gently just rotate the bait against it, and it just threads itself down nice and straight through the actual bait all the way in. Make certain that when it hangs down nice and straight, ready to come up into the correct position so as it's not catching or binding against anything. So there it is screwed in. I then simply hold the hook up against the crayfish or whatever I'm using, work out where the hook's got to go through, and I put my thumb against it. Turn it and just push it through in line with the nail, out the back, and it really is as simple as that. Totally weedless. You can pull it through cabbage, lily pads, streamer weed, anything you want. When the fish grabs it, as the fish comes along and hits it, it quite simply pushes it down, exposes the point, in it goes, and it then allows the hook just to stand proud and into the fish. Job done. It's as simple as that. And then when you pull it back out again, just re-straighten it. There you go. Right, this is just a stand-up jig head. It's one of the ones that actually comes with the crayfish. So as well as rigging it weedless, you can rig it just with a normal stand out. So no problem at all with hooking, or no potential problem with hooking. I tend to use these jig heads on other shads as well, purely and simply because I love the flat base design on it. It's just got a nice finish to it, nice quality, decent gauge hook, and very sharp. When you fish with it, it tends to sit like that on the bottom, especially if your bait you're using is buoyant or semi-buoyant. So it actually looks to a fish as if it's something that's working its way along, feeding, nose down, not looking what's happening, enticingly waving its tail in the air. Ever so easy to rig with the shads. It's virtually the same method as you use with the crays. I hold the actual jig head against the body of the fish where I want it, put my finger against it, and then thread it in. And just allow it to follow around the shank of the hook, pulling it back through in line with where my thumb was, slide it down, and it's rigged. As simple as that, and you're ready to go fishing.
That should keep you on top of things. Now, last week we posted a question out on our Facebook page asking you if you would like to ask the experts, and boy did you respond. But we picked one of the cleanest, and here is his answer.
This week's question was sent in by Junior Lawrence on Facebook. He's heading out to BC, that's British Columbia to me and you, and he wanted to know what flies to take with him that would help him bag a chum. Junior, here is your expert.
Hi, my name's Stevie Munn. I'm a fly fishing guide and instructor from Northern Ireland. I've also been lucky to fly fish and host many trips around the world. One of the places I've been to a lot over the last 20 years is BC, that west coast of Canada. Fantastic place for salmon fishing. Also steelheads, great place for that. I've been asked about fly patterns for there. Purples, pinks, very important in that part of the world. Also blacks, blues, a combination of these colours, really, really good. Also stuff with a bit of flash in it. You want to fly with a bit of flash in it, bit of movement. One of my favourites is this intruder. A lot of sparkle in it. Really, really deadly in the big clear streams of BC. Another fly I use is this black and blue tube. This fly here with cone head on it. Got a bit of silver in it, made with bucktail. A lot of movement in that fly. They work really, really well. So if you're ever out that side of the world, try them flies. I'm sure you'll have success. Tight lines.
If you have a question for Ask an Expert, then tweet, post or send it to us, either filmed or typed, and we'll find a fishing expert to answer it for you.
Now from questions to wish lists. If you were ever going to kit out a battleship for predator hunting, I bet you wouldn't come up with something any better than this beauty.
There are tackle tarts and gadget gimps, and this self-confessed addict of fishing toys is Gary Palmer, captain of the England Law Squad, and he's brought out one of his biggest, shiniest ones for us to look at. Talk about pimp my ride.
It's a Linda 445 catch. It's got a 30 horsepower yam on the back, 4-stroke. Pushes us along at roughly 28 miles an hour, full speed. On the front, we've got a Minn Kota Power Drive V2, which is a 70 That'll push us along at about 4 miles an hour. It's also fitted with a fantastic bit of kit called an iPilot. The iPilot works off the remote control on the lanyard and allows me to operate the boat from anywhere on it or even stood on the bank. I can send it out, turn it around and bring it back to us. Other things that it'll allow me to do: electronic anchor system. Hit the button, takes a GPS position, locks us where we are against flow, tide and wind, etc. You can record a track for up to 1 mile, even around the river. Push replay, hands off, and it just turns around and takes you straight back on the original track that you've just come along. A couple of the most important things on the boat are the finders. I use Humminbird finders. It's what I've always used and understand the best. We've got an 11-inch screen on the front, 8-inch on the back. Both the finders run down scan, side scan, normal 2D, GPS, and lots of other little goodies and tricks and bits that they can do as well. Also on the front of the boat, electric anchor. One of the main benefits of that is it means in the weir pools or anything, it's really safe because you're not getting up, moving around, worrying about getting anchors up, engine started at the same time. You can sit down, start your motor, then lift your anchor without moving, totally safe in the weir pools. Other things the boat's kitted out with: rod holders, lure holders to keep the lures off the ground and stop them falling about, locking rod lockers so as tackle can be locked away safe and sound. A couple of chairs, swivel, just means you can sit there. It's far more comfortable, saves you getting backache, everything else. You're in the perfect position to look at the finder and to operate the engines from where you sit. At the back of the boat, another swivel seat allows me to get a good high view so as I can see over the shoulder whoever's in front, so I can watch the front finder and mine and see what the electric is doing at the same time. I thought this was fully kitted. I've already got a shopping list starting to build again already. It's never ending.
All that's missing is some spinning rims and a sub that can make rivers evaporate, but let's not get silly. Stay tuned here on Fishing Britain as we put this beauty to the test after we have finished admiring it. If you would like to experience predator fishing in style, then contact Gary at river-guide.co.uk.
And we get to go out on it. That is going to be absolutely amazing. Stay tuned for that one. Now it's time for the wider world of fishing on the internet. Here's Hooked on YouTube.
Charlie Jacoby here. This is my weekly roundup of the best fishing on YouTube. It's summer, so let's start by fishing with Sean, who is on a Brighton Marina mackerel frenzy. It starts slowly but turns into a great session. TA fishing is dry fly fishing for trout on a still water. Graham and Mike head to Frensham Trout Fishery in Surrey, where Graham catches his PB on the dry. To complete the Sea Game Course trilogy from the British Isles, here is lure fishing for pike and perch on the Grand Union Canal. Some of the best fishing films on YouTube come from kayaks. Here Jim and Damon are fighting Big Black Drum off Florida, just down the coast, or if you're one of those people who insist on confusing down with south, actually just up the coast. Drone Films Redfish Action by Louisiana Fishing Blog records fishing and with the use of a drone. It's a happy American birthday on Big Green Lake, the deepest inland lake in Wisconsin. Lucy is after bass and trout on her birthday. To Sweden to go carp fishing with Tiger Nuts. That's not the name of a celebrity angler, but Fish Conservator is trying out a different bait in his quest to become a better carp fisherman. Quest, that's surely a Swedish word. And finally, if you like the sound of a Dutchman shouting snook whenever someone catches a pike, this is the film for you. Pim B records a grand slam with 4 M's. Click on the links to watch the videos, or you will find them in this film's description. If you would like to send in a video for Hooked on YouTube, ping me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv.
Well folks, that's it for another week. I am really sorry that we've ran out of time, but if you've enjoyed the show, share it with all your friends. Hit the subscribe button. If you don't want to miss any program that's on the channel, go to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, fill out the constant contact form, and we'll constantly contact you. Don't forget, we're also on Facebook and Twitter, where all the fun stuff appears that doesn't actually make it to the show. I'll see you next week on Fishing Britain.